Take us to a higher place, Reverend Joanne.
I believe that somebody took my first page. Did you take my first page? Thank you.
This was a test.
You have sunk to a lower place. Just kidding. Okay. We're going to begin today. And did you all have your day of remembering, Remembrance Day? Poppies? Are these poppies? Okay. What we're going to do today, just before we start, before I begin my message, is to take a moment, just a moment, to bless and honor those men and women who have given their lives for our country. And to do that, I'm going to invite up Lana. She sent to me this poem. And this particular poem was written by a vet. So come on up. As you're coming up, we'll explain this. And Lana sent this to me and several others. And in this particular poem, there is a reference made to politicians. And I understand you have a very interesting time with your politicians recently. I personally have immense compassion. Anyone who stands in front of any nation, and as in the States, it's President Obama, and he gets a good shellacking every once in a while. You know what a shellacking is? You can figure that out. So I respect and honor and have compassion for them. Anyway, there's some interesting references made in this poem. It was written by a veteran. I just wanted to say this, though. My father was a veteran of this country, and he served in World War II. He was wounded, and he used to show me, he was shot in the neck, and he used to show me his wound. As a little child, I would go and feel that little wound there, and he was given a Purple Heart. So I have great respect and honor for those who are willing to give up their life for what they believe. And so with that, I would like for all of us to just close our eyes for a moment in silent remembering as you hear the words of this poem written by a vet.
He was getting old and paunchy, and his hair was falling fast. And he sat around the Legion, telling stories of the past, of a war that he once fought in, and the deeds that he had done in his exploits with his buddies. They were heroes, every one. And though sometimes to his neighbors, his tales became a joke. All his buddies listened quietly, for they knew whereof he spoke. But we'll hear his tales no longer, for old Joe has passed away, and the world's a little poorer, for a veteran died today. He won't be mourned by many, just his children and his wife, for he lived an ordinary, very quiet sort of life. He held a job and raised a family, going quietly on his way. And the world won't know his passing, though a veteran died today. When politicians leave this earth, their bodies lie in state, while thousands note their passing and proclaim that they were great. Papers tell of their life stories from the time that they were young, but the passing of a veteran goes unnoticed and unsung. It is the greatest contribution to the welfare of our land. A politician breaking promises and cons his fellow man, or the ordinary fellow who in times of war and strife go off to serve his country and offers up his life. The politician's stipend and the style in which he lives are often disproportionate to the service that he gives, while the ordinary veteran who offered up his all is paid off with a medal and perhaps a pension small. It is not the politicians with their compromise employs who won for us the freedom that our country now enjoys. Should you find yourself in danger with your enemies at hand, would you really want some cop-out with his ever-waffling stand? Or would you want a veteran, his home, his country, his kin, just a common veteran who would fight until the end? He was just a common veteran, and his ranks are growing thin, but his presence should remind us we may need his legs again. For when countries are in conflict, we find the veteran's part is to clean up all the troubles that the politicians start. If we cannot do him honor while he's here to hear the praise, then at least let's give him homage at the ending of his days. Perhaps just a simple headline in the paper that might say, "Our country is in mourning. A veteran died today."
And so in that sense of honoring our veterans, we just take a moment today just to send our love and our blessings out, not only to those who serve our nation, our country, but to those all over the world. In every country, there are those who give of their life for the good of the country. And so we just take a moment to honor all of those men and women in the world and beyond who give their all to us. And so with gratitude, with honoring, and with deep appreciation, I say thank you, thank you, thank you, each and every one. As we say together, and so it is. All right, so does anyone have plans for tomorrow? Being a holiday? For some of you, the plans are to sleep in, have a day off. I wanted to thank the person. There was a wonderful person here that gave this as a gift to me. You might remember that from last week. Who remembers that? So I'm wearing it. I'm wearing the gift. So thank you very much. It's lovely. I also wanted to share with you this. We had someone wearing these kind of shoes. Who remembers that? So I was in the store. I discovered Chapters. Yeah, I'm in big trouble now. I watched Chapters and I saw this and I said, my Christmas stocking is awaiting for me. So I bought this. Isn't it great? So this is my Christmas stocking, and it doesn't have anything in it yet. So it's open. We're going to talk about being open to receive later. Isn't that great? So I'm going to give this to Ken. That's a hint. I'm just kidding. All right. So this entire month and also the first week in December is dedicated to the truth of our beings, the divine truth, and that is that we are infinite beings here to express our life in amazing ways with prosperity and abundance and joy and peace and laughter and all of the cornucopia of all good. And so I'm sharing with you each week one of the tools that allows us to express that. Now, I brought this morning a gift. Can you all see the gift up here? Okay. That gift has something very special in it that I found, and it will be given to first I have to ask, how many of you are continuing with your gratitude journals? Okay, so all of you who have done that will have your name put in a hat, maybe in the stocking. And then we're going to draw a name and you will receive this gift. But each week, I brought it as, I wrapped it myself, and I put joy on top of it. So it is actually inside an extremely delightful, joyful gift. So I can't wait to see the look on your face, whoever you are, that wins this gift. But meanwhile, you get to look at it every week until the 40 days are up, and they should be coming up toward the end of November. And then we'll draw a name. So each week, I open a gift, or we will open a gift, and who knows what a tool is? Anyone know what what is a tool? Right, it's an instrument that helps us. Let's say you're a plumber, and you have to change your plumbing and you're under your sink. Don't you need a tool? So a tool is something that assists us in opening ourselves up to a greater good. And so today's gift that we are going to unwrap is a very powerful one. It's called the power of intention. And there is incredible power when you set an intention. I have many examples to share with you today, or just a few actually. But first I want to share with you what Wayne Dyer said. And this was in the e-blast. How many of you get the e-blast? How many of you get it? Some of you, not everyone? If you would like to get the e-blast, it's really fun. Every week you get to have a blast. Who remembers that word in high school? Did you have fun? Yeah, I had a blast. Anyone remember that? See, am I that old? Anyway, so you get an e-blast, and in that e-blast it said this. This is from Wayne Dyer. He said this: what is intention? He said, intention is a force. It is a force in the universe that allows the action of creation to take place. It's a force. May the force be with you, right? It's a force. And he says it is spirit expressing through us. So an intention is spirit expressing. So take a moment and to see, what are you intending for your life? What are you intending? Deepak Chopra, who I just adore, he said this: intention is the power of unbending intent. It is to make an unchangeable decision from which it is impossible to go back. Isn't that powerful? An unbending intention where it's impossible to go back. It is single-mindedness of purpose, and in order to create anything in the universe, for us to create anything, we have to have that intention. So ladies, I want to invite you to think about this. How many of us have been on a diet? And how many of us stayed on the diet? One of you get a gold star. Very good. Normally what we do, all of us, whatever we intend, is we'll have an intention, and we'll do a treatment, and we'll do a prayer, and we'll do an affirmation, we'll use our spiritual tools, and then we'll forget all about it. We forget all about it, and then what happens? Chocolate cake. Something will happen. And so what would it be like to set an intention in your life for whatever that is unbendable, that is undeniable, that is absolutely on track, that you set an intention that is so powerful, so right on, so sure, that there is no opposite, as Dr. Holmes said. An affirmation is a statement of truth so firm that there's no opposite. How can that be? When you have that, when you create that, then that gets to be your experience. So I love that by Deepak Chopra. One of the greatest privileges we have on this planet as a human being is the power to intend. It is the power of choice, and it is truly a gift. And in every moment, whether you know it or not, you are choosing something. The question is, what are you choosing? And the universe, being an incredible feedback loop, is showing you, is mirroring back to you exactly what you intend. Isn't that interesting? So the good news is that you have the power to change that. And did you know that it is actually a metaphysical law that is activated? It becomes active the minute that you choose something. When you make a choice, which we do every minute, you could have chosen to all stay in bed. Some people did. That's a choice. So the instant you make a choice, the entire universe is rushing, pouring, streaming, flowing through you in that intention. And if you make no choice, what do you receive? You get whatever. You get whatever. So you either can choose consciously or you can choose unconsciously. In Gold Hill, which is in Oregon, there is someone that has this enormous, ginormous sign, this huge sign, and it says, "Wake up, America." So every time I would drive by, they're talking to me, "Wake up, Joanne." You know, it's time for all of us to wake up. What are we waking up to? That we are extensions of divinity. We are the divine in physical form, and we are here to create. And every moment we're creating something. So what are we creating? What is it that you would like to create? How many of you have heard of Bruce Lipton? He has a great book called The Biology of Belief. I got to meet him and hang out with him for a week. That was great. He said this is so interesting. He said, and this was in Science of Mind magazine, he said the conscious mind, our conscious mind operates on 40 nerve stimuli per second. Our unconscious or subconscious mind operates on 40 million. So you have 40 or you have 40 million, which is greater? 40 million. So he said 95% of your life is done unconsciously until you wake up, until you intend. So there is incredible power in intention. So the best way to access our conscious mind is to be fully present in the now, to be open and present in the now. And further, whatever we dwell on, whether you like this thing or not, whatever you dwell on, you all know this, is what you receive. So that's why I love the universe being an incredible feedback loop. Because if something shows up that you don't like, who has the power to change that? We do. So I'm going to share with you today just 3 things. And these are the 3 things, or the 3 ways, or the 3 instructions of and powerful ways of intending. The very first one I will share with you, you already know it, but it's very, very powerful. It's that we are to be fully present and fully open. So we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to have you go like this. Put your hands together. And I want you to very slowly, and I want them right over your heart. So right here. And I want you to imagine that right now you are opening your heart to the greatest, grandest, most fabulous, beautiful expression of your life. So you are opening your heart. Just see how that feels. Go ahead and open your hands. If those of you who have your eyes closed, open them up for a minute. You're going to go like this. Okay? You can actually feel this. You can feel your whole consciousness opening up. Let's try it again. Let's try it with your eyes closed this time. So your hands are in the prayer, palms of your hands are together, and you are opening your heart, opening slowly, opening your consciousness, opening your life for the greatest, most wonderful, most fabulous, next greatest version of you. You are opening up to the all good of God. And just feel your heart just opening up. And if you like, you can keep it open. Some people don't. If they want to close it up again, I'll leave it up to you. But it's so lovely to leave your heart open, to receive from Spirit. So instruction number 1, be present and be open. And there's a true story. How many of you were able to get the book, The 5 Gifts of an Abundant Life? Good. And you'll find this story. I'm just going to share it briefly. It's such a fabulous story. So there was a woman and her husband, married couple, that wanted to and did create the best vacation ever. They decided to go to Hawaii. Doesn't that sound good right now? Let's all go to Hawaii. If I win the lotto, I'll take you all with me. We'll get a jet. Wouldn't that be fun? We could have lots of fun. Anyway, so this woman and her husband are on a 6-week vacation in Hawaii. They went to every beach. They sat on every beach. They lounged. They had margaritas, and they had the best time ever. There was only one thing missing. One thing, and that was a comfortable beach chair. At the hotels, they gave you a mat. I don't know if you've ever seen these kind of grass mats, and they just, and you get the sand off of them easily, but they're not comfortable. So the woman, while she was in meditation on one of these beautiful beaches, this idea literally came to her. She was open. I mean, usually when we're on vacation, right, we're open. So she was open and she was just meditating. This idea literally came into her consciousness to design a beach chair where that it all kind of clicked together, that it was comfortable, it was light, and it came with its own little tote, and it had a padded shoulder. And so she got so excited, she got so jazzed, and she was told that this particular chair would be of service to the world, that people all over the world would buy it, and that it could be in bright colors. And so she just got really all excited about it. So I'll tell you more about that story in a minute. So it is so important for this piece of the journey to be open to the greatest possibility of your life. And here are some examples. Be open and open yourself to the thoughts of God. Open is to become consciously aware of the desires that want to come through you. We're all creators. Be open to step beyond what is. How many of us stay in the same thing, right? How many of us are willing to make a change? When I moved here, everything changed on every level. My housing, my dance friends, the center, everything is different. It's completely, are you open? Would you be willing to move? Would you be willing to take your whole life and move to India? One of you, the same one who, we got to talk. The same one who stays on her diet and wants to go to India. But most people, they actually discovered this. I don't know about in Canada, but in America, they discovered that most people never move more than 25 miles from where they were born. Is that you? Okay, good. Okay, I know we're kind of a different sort of, we're open. Okay, so open to go beyond what has been gone before or done before. To open, this is my favorite part. To open is to dance in the realm of all possibilities. To step outside the box and to try on, to stretch and grow and choose to be a vehicle of holy manifestation. What about if you moved somewhere far away, like my daughter in South Korea, and your whole life got even better, even more abundant, even more joyful, even more healthy? Would you go?
Yes.
Would you go? Okay, well, not right now. I'm just getting to know you. So number one is to be open. And the first step to be open is to receive the gift of intentions, to know how powerful that is. So that's instruction number one. Be open, be present, and be open to receive. Okay, instruction number two for successful intentions this is so important. And I teach this to everybody I know. You have to follow your guidance. You have to follow your guidance. Every one of us has a gutometer. A gut-ometer. A gut-ometer. We all have one. It's installed when you arrived. And it guides you. And the way you know that you are following that, and if you're wondering, how do I tell? Some people say, how do you tell? You know because it brings you joy. If you're going to make a decision, do I go to Tahiti or Hawaii or Australia or Kamloops? Which decision brings me the greatest joy. The lightness. If it feels heavy and awful, don't do it. If it gives you God bumps. I know someone who gets God bumps all the time. Anyone get God bumps? If it gives you God bumps, just jump ahead, don't waste any time. It's really good. So that's instruction number 2. In our busy lives, so many of us are so busy doing. Who's a doer and not a beer? Doobie doobie doo. Doobie doobie doo. Do you want to doobie doo? Or do you want to do or you want to be? Right? We're so busy doing it and we're focused on the world of effects. There's so many busynesses out here. Someone was asking this week, they said they just want a day off. They just want a time. Can I get off the train, please, and just have a time out? You have to put you in a timeout. You choose that. If you find yourself too busy, who did that to you? Yourself. So then you can say, okay, I'm going to make a new decision. So following guidance, you ask the infinite spirit that is everywhere present and also, of course, in you for the decision. What is best in this situation? What brings me the greatest joy? And this is what it looks like. You say yes to the divine ideas that come through you. You cultivate an undying trust. Some people say they're not sure if that voice is really like the one they should listen to. You cultivate an undying trust in your intuition, and you let its voice of inspiration guide you. You resist any temptation to limit your intentions by trying to figure out how they will manifest. Anyone get stuck in the how? How will it happen? It's none of your business. None of your business. The how. That's the universe's, that's spirit's business. Your job is simply to hold the intention. You are to pray affirmatively, knowing that contained within your intention is everything necessary for its complete revelation to you. And to keep your newly born creation to yourself. So let me tell you about this continuing story of this woman. So she has this fabulous idea, right? The perfect beach chair. She's going to be the inventor. She's so excited. So she can't wait, and she rushes in to tell her husband. And she went to tell him all about it. I got this idea, and I'm so excited. The husband, I'm going to see exactly the words. She received staunch skepticism. Have any of you ever had an idea that was so fabulous, so great, and you took it to someone and you got staunch skepticism? And so she got really disappointed. So she took it to another family member. And they poo-pooed it. Nah, it's not going to happen. It costs too much money. Who do you think you are to try and invent something? She took it to all her friends. Every single person she took it to kiboshed it. That means, you know what that means? Yeah. Gone. So she, very sadly, for our story today, just let it all go. And it never, in her experience, it never came into fruition. So if you have an idea, if you have an intuition, if you have a design, you want to keep it to yourself or only share it with those people who you know will support you with love. Even if it's a wild idea. I'm going to fly to Australia. I had a music person. His name was Michael Mish. How many of you have heard of Sesame Street? How many of you watched Sesame? Okay, never mind. So he was one of the singers on Sesame Street. He was one of the producers, and he sang in our church. And one day he came to me, and he said, I'm going to Australia. I sold everything. He's still there. And I said, fabulous. But to some people he told that to. They're like, what, you crazy? You're going to sell everything you own and move to Australia? Why would you do that? Because he can. All right. So this woman, this happened to her. So excited. You and I must resist being discouraged if someone is discouraging you from your divine inspiration. We must resist following that and not allow ourselves to be discouraged. And this brings us to instruction number 3. And that is this. We must let go of the how. We must practice non-attachment to the how. So many of us, especially the guys, are always supporting us and getting it done. If you tell a guy you have a problem, he's going to want to fix it. He's going to want to get his tools out and fix it, right? And that's a good thing. We want to have our problems fixed in that way. However, with our infinite creations, we want to allow them to be. So this is what happened to the woman. 18 months later, that's about a year and a half, her and her husband are flying back to Hawaii, and she happens to open up a magazine, and what did she find in the magazine?
Her chair.
Her chair. She found this beautiful beach chair, exactly what she had designed in her head, that came to her with a pad over the shoulder and everything. It was exactly that infinite spirit got the idea through to someone else, and it wasn't her. And she was so like shocked. There's my chair. And so we don't want to allow ourselves to be discouraged. Rather, this woman, rather than doing what her mind inspired her to do, she allowed herself and her dream to die and get discouraged. So don't do that. And I'm going to give you the tool for that. So when you have the idea come to you, you want to be open to receive it, yes. You want to allow it to come through you, yes. And you want to follow your guidance, yes. And then finally, when you have that intention, you want to do these 4 words. You've all heard these 4 words before. Very powerful words. Let go and let God. Let go and let God. You practice non-attachment to the how it's going to be. Your job is not the how. Your job is to hold the divine truth, the divine intention that is calling, that is screaming, that is wanting to be expressed through you. And I got news. There are literally millions of possibilities. There's endless possibilities for your life, for how you get to be in the world, what you are expressing. So we let go. And when we let go and let God, we are in true partnership. Because we're allowing the greatness of God. What would be God's idea of your life? Or Spirit's idea? What is Spirit's idea of your singing? What is Spirit's idea of your work? What is Spirit's idea of your retirement? It might be way bigger, right? And maybe way more expanded than you might think. So we need to allow ourselves to experience that. So to sum this all up for today, one of the greatest privileges we have on this planet is the power of choice and the power of intention. Conscious choice is a gift. I'll say it again. Conscious choice is a gift. And so we are here not to be unconscious, not to be asleep, but to be conscious and awake and aware, to open to the greatest possibility, to follow our gutometer, follow our inner guidance. And how do we know what inner guidance is? It brings us joy. It feels light and joyful. And finally, we let go of the how. We turn it over to the infinite presence for its manifestation through us. That is the gift. And we're all here. We are living gifts to one another. And that is the gift of intention, the power of intention that we explore today. Next week, we're going to have something. We'll go right into our meditation in just a second here. Next week, we're going to do something that is very, very powerful. And we're going to create, the chairs are going to be in a different configuration next week. It's like every week you come in with something new. Next week is about forgiveness. This is really big. This is huge. I had someone walk into my office this week, not a member of the center, and share some very upsetting things. Had 2 failed marriages, and we talked about forgiveness. It just really felt very deeply that there was some ex-wives that they needed to forgive. So maybe there's someone in your life that you've had a challenge, maybe more than one. Maybe you're going back to your birth, maybe even pre-verbal. And so next week is a very powerful, very sacred. We're going to have a prayer chamber, and we're actually going to do some really deep forgiveness work of not only our own lives, but for our planet. I mean, how much damage have we done to our planet? You know, there's so many things that we can truly free ourselves from. So that's going to be next week. I invite you all to come and bring your friends. And if you're very brave and there's someone that you would like to forgive, bring them. See, I want you to come to church so I can forgive you. No, don't want to do that. I'm in the center, I should say. All right, so I'm going to have Rael. I call him Angel Raphael. And he's going to play the angelic wings for us as we just anchor this into our treatment time. So I invite you just to close your eyes as we just anchor this deeply into our consciousness. Go ahead. I love those. And so just taking a moment on this beautiful, slightly rainy day, this holiday weekend. It's a holiday weekend where we are acknowledging all of our veterans and remembering all those who have passed into infinity, into the infinite presence, blended back into the joy of God. Just remembering them. And so in that, I am recognizing that there is only one power, one presence, one life, one essence that I happen to call spirit. But it is known by many names. Some call it Jesus or Buddha, the divine mind, like swimming in the divine mind of God. And so knowing there is that one essence, that power, that presence of spirit that is everywhere. It fills all time, all space, all place. In the universe upon universe upon universe upon universe upon universe, forever expanding. And yet at the same time, it is the container within which we all live and move and have our being. So from the tiniest particle in our body to the most grand, enormous cosmos, spirit is there. Spirit is there. Spirit is there, always and eternally. And therefore I know that I am one with this essence. And knowing that, I am clear. I know that I have all of the power and all the presence and all the life of infinite spirit within me. And that my intentions, my task, if you will, my job, if you will, is to be and hold and know and feel and live as the intention, the highest possibility of my life. That I am here to set the intention. And I do that, number one, by being fully present and fully open. I open my heart, my life, my soul to infinite spirit. I am open to be a divine receiver of the cornucopia of all good, all of it, every good and wonderful thing. And as I open to be a divine receiver and to be a receiver of ideas and blessings and thoughts and the thoughts of God through me, as I open, I then next follow guidance. So important. And I know which decision to make in that which brings me the greatest joy and the greatest lightness. So I set my intention by being fully present and open to receive from the divine its impartation to me, its divine guidance. And I follow that guidance. And in the following of that guidance, I get out of the way. I don't have to know how. I must know how. No, I let go of how. And I just allow. So I let go of how and I just allow the presence and power of God to express its life as me. I let go. And I let God. I live its inspiration through me. I live its life as me. The greatest, grandest, next beautiful possibility of my life, of our center, of our city, of our nation, of our world? What is the next grandest, greatest version of planet Earth? And so I give gratitude. I am in such gratitude to know the power of intention, the power of my intention received by the essence of spirit, acted upon and made visible. I get out of its way and allow it to have its way with me. Infinite spirit. And so I just release this treatment. I let go. I let God. I place it into the law of mind, knowing it is already done. That the power and the presence is expressing its life, God's life, as me, as a divine emanation, as a divine extension of my divinity. And I see through the manifestation to the divine essence. I see the divine essence in all things, beginning with me, with myself, and seeing it in all others and all possibilities. And so with that, I just simply release. I let go. I let God. And we say together in total agreement, and so it is.